Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. I've heard you guys had some awesome success from last week. Thank you for sharing that with us. I think I'll just give it another minute before we get started, just to make sure everybody has a chance to jump on.
So was that an AI bot that sent us the message and said, how did it work for you?
Wait, sorry, what?
Well, I got a text saying, you were just in this group and how did it work for you? And I had a chat back and forth with it. And
Oh, that was from the webinar. That's from the webinar that I
oh,
did.
the webinar. It
Yeah,
was
so
very personal. It
I
was
know.
whatever system. It was,
It's good. It's really good. Yeah, no, we use it
yeah.
for marketing. We don't use that for our students. Not yet,
Oh,
at
okay.
least. We might use it to help you guys find, as I'm rebuilding the website and all the materials, we might have it use that to show you where things are because, as you guys are
Oh,
bringing up, there's a lot of really cool things, but it's hard to figure out where things are. So we're going to recategorize everything and organize it, but I think we'll probably use that to help you guys find the tools that you're looking for.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited about it. I've
Yeah.
got just an awesome team working with me now, to help kind of like modernize the business.
Cool.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Thanks for being here. It is finally cold in Austin. So I'm really happy to wear my jacket, my winter jacket, finally. Okay. So, just a little recap of what we learned last week. Last week, we talked about some of the most common weight loss blockers that come up during the holidays. We talked about two in depth: the craving connection block, which is when you walk into a party and you can't stop yourself from eating or from obsessing over food or alcohol. Okay. And what we learned is that the reason for that is that you are subconsciously wanting to use food to connect with people. Okay. You learned about the party panic block, which is connected to social anxiety. And this causes us to want to eat to avoid pain. And that's what we're going to work on today. Okay. Then I showed you how to use my ball of light technique specifically for connection cravings so that you can go to any party and connect with people instead of eating or obsessing about the food and the booze. And a lot of you guys have been using the audio in the transformation tune-ups that I created specifically for the holidays. So well done on that. I'm really glad you're getting a lot of value from that. Okay, so today we're going to focus on the other aspect of feeling uncomfortable at parties. This is how you know party panic is triggered. You walk into a party and you feel your nervous system spike. You feel your anxiety um, increase. You might feel awkward. You might feel exposed. You might feel like too much, or you might feel like not enough. And then that's when you will be drawn to food and alcohol as a way to calm that anxiety in your body. Okay, so I'm going to show you today how to use the echo tapping process to solve this. Because when your nervous system feels safe in a room, food suddenly becomes a lot less interesting. Your brain isn't looking for, your brain isn't scanning for threats and then looking for something to numb with. Okay. And so I think what you'll notice over time when you use this consistently is in addition to helping you stop overeating at parties, you might notice this technique actually helps you feel less socially anxious in general. Um, this is something that I've actually just gotten really passionate about recently because I solved my own social anxiety problem, which I didn't even know I had. I just always thought I was an introvert, and I was able to use this process and a couple of more of my techniques to help me solve my social anxiety. And I swear to God, I think maybe I identify as an extrovert now. I talk to strangers, which I never used to speak to strangers. So anyway, I'm going to dive into that extensively in my coach certification program that I keep telling you guys about that's happening next year. So First of all, I want to kind of tell you guys this story about how echo tapping was discovered. Some of you guys may have heard this story, but hopefully I'll give you a little more dimension than you've maybe heard in the past. So, when I when I first launched myself into the online world to teach tapping for weight loss, I was partnered with Dawson Church, who many of you guys know. He's probably the most well-known scientist. He's led the research on EFT becoming a clinically proven method. And so he's my first partner when I first got into the industry. And I'd created a program called Skinny Jeans, Genes, and he has a book called The Genie in Your Jeans, Genes. And so anyway, we were divinely connected. That's a whole nother story. We were divinely connected, and he published my first weight loss program. And back then, the Skinny Jeans program was just a collection of tapping scripts, basically, and it was addressing the different problems, but it was addressing them with a tapping script. And it was so hard for me to launch that program because I knew there was something missing. And I am a fucking perfectionist, if anything. And I knew something was missing, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I couldn't solve it. I couldn't fix that problem. Mm. And I remember my dad asking me one day, he's like, "Do you know more than pretty much everybody else about tapping?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know more than like 99.9% of the world about tapping." He's like, "Then what are you waiting for?" And it was my first leap before you're ready moment professionally. But I'm so grateful for that because what I knew in that moment was that if I committed to just teaching this method, I knew that I had to teach this method, and there's another part of me that knew that as I was teaching it, I would figure out the solution to the problem that I had been having, which, I had used regular tapping for so many things in my life, and it had helped some with my cravings, with my emotional eating, but it wasn't helping for self-sabotage, and my emotional eating never fully went away. It would calm my anxiety, it would lower my stress, but it wouldn't ever fix the problem. When I wanted to eat, I would still go for the food, and even when I tapped in that moment, the tapping wouldn't work and I would always eventually end up eating. And I know many of you guys found me as somebody who already knows what tapping is. And I've heard, and I know you had this experience too, where tapping can work I mean, tapping changed my life. It worked for everything else, except it never worked for weight. It didn't work for my addiction, my addictive tendencies. Um, so I was living in Mexico at the time, and I was teaching classes, and I was still struggling with emotional eating. And I felt like such a fraud. I felt like such a fraud. And my students were making such great progress. They were losing weight. They were stopping their emotional eating. I mean, there were some of them, the shares, I was like, fuck, I'm jealous of these people. Like, I want that transformation. Um, and so anyway, this continued. I don't know how long it was. It couldn't have been more than 6 months or a year. But it felt like a really long time for it to be going on, for me to be teaching and to still struggle with my emotional eating. And I remember there was this one particular class when I got off the phone or I got off the call and I wanted to eat a chocolate bar. There was a chocolate bar in my house and I felt so compelled to eat it. You guys all know what that feels like. And I just was so fed up with myself that I kept living this lie. My instinct told me just push it away. And as soon as I pushed it away, the voice of my mentor, who you guys have heard me talk about, his name is Stephen Kessler. I started working with him when I was 15. I saw him every week for 15 years. He's now a published author. He's written probably the largest body of work on the personality profiles. It's called I think it's called The Five Personalities by Stephen Kessler. Um, he's probably, to this day, he is the most influential person the most influential person in my life. Anyway, so Steve pops into my head, and I remember him saying to me, "Brittany, if you want to know what's behind something, stop the behavior and see what comes up." because I had been in therapy for years at this point, years and years and years. And I was solving things right, left, and center. I mean, my life was improving, my finances were improving, my emotional health was improving. I was super happy. I was happier than all of my friends. I wasn't living according to what society told me to live, how they told me to live. I was, dancing to the beat of my own drummer or whatever the expression is. And but I still just couldn't figure out this weight problem. So anyway, I hear this, Brittany, you got to stop the behavior and notice what comes up. And I had tried that before, and I was in overwhelming panic when I had tried to stop the behavior. And so anyway, I gave it another go in this moment, and then another set of instructions came through. And there was another set of questions. And as I answered the questions and as I was tapping through the points, I don't know how long it was, probably 15 or 20 minutes later, I looked down at the chocolate bar, and it was the very first time that I had been hit with an emotional eating urge, and I had no desire to eat the food in front of me after tapping. And I realized that I had figured something out. Like, it was kind of my eureka moment. Looking back, I was hesitant though. I wasn't sure if it just worked for me, but I mean, I definitely celebrated that day. But I was teaching classes actively and I was working with clients. So the next client that I had, I was like, you know what? I just figured out this thing the other day. Can we do it? Like, I want to see if it works for you. And they were like, okay, sure. And I tried it with them and it worked for them. And then I tried it with the next client and it worked for the next client. And so then I ended up teaching a group call about it. So this is a really cool full circle moment for me to be teaching this class again, because that was really that was the birth of my unique tapping system. So once I figured out the code for the emotional eating, then I figured out another code for the self-sabotage. And then I figured out another code for overeating. And then, all the weight loss blockers that I now teach that are my system came through to me after that moment. And, and fast forward to just in the last 6 months, I took a little break from working a couple years ago, and I just gotten back into my business and started to become active again in the last year. And my sense has been that I want to launch a new coach certification program. And some of my coaches were like, Brittany, I mean, it's great, it's amazing, but you can only really follow it if you can pick up on the subtleties of what you're doing with your intuition. There's a lot of things that you don't explain, and we would need the Q&A times for you to explain what you were doing. And so I hired this girl who came referred to me, who is a fucking angel. She is an absolute living angel. And for the last 6 months, she and I have been talking extensively for hours and hours each week as she's asking me questions and I'm explaining to her why I'm doing the things that I'm doing and how the techniques work. And she's asking me about the psychological process and why am I doing this over here and then this over here? And through these interviews, I have created not only a much more dynamic system, but I now have an explanation. I can explain how and why I do the things that I do. And so I want to just read to you guys the echo tapping explanation that she came up with. When she first read this to me, I cried because it was the first time that I had been able to articulate what I had been seeing and sensing, or what I knew was happening with the echo tapping process. So, okay, echo tapping is a technique that helps heal emotional eating by working with echoes, which are younger versions of yourself that are stuck in past experiences. These echoes are created when something stressful or painful happens and your brain can't fully process it. The memory gets stored in the hippocampus, and when something similar happens in the present, it triggers that echo, kind of like a hologram in a Star Trek movie that pops up to warn you that something familiar is happening. But instead of hearing that message clearly, you feel stressed, you feel sad, or you feel hungry. What's really happening is your brain is reaching for food to release good feeling chemicals like dopamine and serotonin to calm you down. With echo tapping, instead of numbing out with food, we can connect with the younger echoes, help them reframe what happened. And when we do that, we can heal them. We can release the stuck emotions and we can break the cycle of emotional eating. And this is something that, just having that framework around how echo tapping works specifically for food, we have another framework for how it works kind of like as a new psychology. One of the things that I realized when I was working with her, I've always said, well, regular tapping doesn't work for weight loss, but I never understood why that was. And during my interview with her, what I realized is that regular tapping presupposes that you know what the problem is. So if any of you guys have studied EFT, or if you are EFT coaches or therapists, it always teaches you to start with the problem. Well, what's the problem? With echo tapping presupposes that you don't know the problem, that you actually don't know why you're triggered. And I would say 90% of the problems that we have, we actually don't know why we're reacting that way. We may think that we have a solution, or we may think we know why we're acting this way, but we don't actually know why we're acting that way. And so, the echo tapping therapy process teaches you how to apply the echo tapping process on pretty much any problem you have to get to the actual root cause. So remember, that's kind of my platform. That's, one of the things you guys, that was probably the first aha moment that I helped you with, if you found me through the challenge or through one of my webinars, is figuring out what the root causes are. Well, when you activate the echo tapping technique, echo tapping is taking you directly to that root cause. And, over the years, I have come to realize that when people struggle with food or any kind of addiction, those urges aren't a sign that you're broken. They are a roadmap. And what I believe is that your cravings or your compulsive behavior are your higher self, your God, universe, whatever deity you believe in. It's kind of like tapping you on the shoulder that's telling you this part of you is ready to be healed. And what the echo tapping process does is it helps light the way so that you can kind of follow those clues back to the exact moment that needs your attention. And then when you free those stuck emotions, you reclaim your joy, you reclaim your freedom. So when you use cravings and when you allow yourself to follow your addictive patterns, um, when you reframe it in this way, they kind of stop becoming the problem and they become more of like a spiritual roadmap. So anyway, that is what I believe, and I believe the spiritual roadmap is guiding you to the highest and best version of your life, truly. So thanks for letting me share that story with you. That was super fun to think through and to, again, deliver to you guys. Okay, so let's get into the technique today. Let's have you guys do it. Okay, so last week we worked on, so we're talking about cravings at holiday parties. And last week we talked about the connection cravings, right? Where you walk into a party and your brain immediately goes to the food and the drinks. And what your brain is doing in that moment is it's equaling food and drinks to fun and connection. Okay, this is when you're drawn to the buffet or the bar because it feels like that's where the warmth and the bonding live. Okay, whereas party panic is when your body goes on high alert. You might be thinking things like, I don't really know anybody here, or I feel awkward in this outfit, or you might be thinking about a person that you don't want to run into. Food and alcohol in that moment become your safety blanket. You drink to loosen up, you snack to have something to do, or you use eating and drinking to take the edge off of the awkwardness. Okay. And there are some events where both can be true. You're excited to see a few people and then you're nervous to see some others, which is something that you saw last week when I did the demonstration. So for this exercise, I want you guys to pick a party panic style event. So I want you to think of a party that you have coming up that you feel nervous about, or think about one that you went to where you didn't really know anybody and it was awkward and you left and you're like, oh my God, I hate going to parties. I'm never going to another one again. Or maybe it's a work event where you feel judged or exposed, or you just feel off, and you blame it on like being around your boss, um, but the truth is you're probably really activated. Okay. So I want you to take a second right now, and I want you to choose the party where you um, feel that anxiety, feel the anxiousness. Is that a word? Anxiousness. Um, okay. So just to go a little deeper into echo tapping, or to like draw a circle around this experience with echo tapping, what's happening is that your echoes are activating. Your brain isn't just responding to this party, your echoes, right? It's like you pressed a button, your echoes are popping up, and the hologram of your echoes are popping up, and they're basically putting up a highlight reel of every moment that felt similar to this in the past, right? Maybe it was the lunchroom when nobody would sit with you or you didn't know where to sit. Or maybe it was a school dance where you felt awkward or invisible. Or maybe it was a family gathering where somebody commented about your body. Or maybe they said something about what you were eating. Okay. So what happens is that these old moments, they get layered on top of your current party. Okay. So your body isn't just walking into one room. It kind of feels like it's walking into 10 old painful rooms at the same time. So of course your system wants soothing. Of course you want to reach for a drink or grab a plate of food the second that you walk in. What you're doing is you're trying to calm this threat, right? So party panic isn't, I'm just bad at parties, I'm socially awkward. Party panic is, my nervous system has coded parties as dangerous. Okay. So tonight it is our job to update that code. Who would like to work with me on this? I think I should probably take two people. Um, okay. Thanks, Daphne, um, thank you, Daphne. Oops. Sorry, Linda. Daphne moved and I tried to unmute you. Hang on one second.
Brittany, if you were trying to unmute me, I am unmuted.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. Could I have one more person? Oh, Mary. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Mary. Okay, Daphne and Mary, thank you for volunteering. Okay, so as I work with Daphne and Mary, I'm going to talk you guys through this all together. Okay. So I'm going to also, in case you've never done a class with me, I want to point out that I am going to be giving you guys some instruction. And I'm going to ask you some questions. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question that's, I'm going to ask you a few questions. One of them might be, how old are you right now? And I just want you to know that everybody's going to get the answer right. Okay. When I snap my fingers, you're going to allow your unconscious mind to give you the answer. And the way you know the answer is different for everybody. Okay. You could see the actual age that you are floating in your periphery. You could just have a knowing sense of how old you are. You could see yourself at a certain age and just know, oh yeah, I know how old I was when I looked like that. Okay. Um, so the only way you can do this wrong is if you're trying to get it perfect or you're trying to get it right. Even if the answer comes to you and you don't think it's right, I want you to go with that answer anyway. Okay? All right. So, let's see. What party, Daphne, do you want to work? Do you have a party in mind? Can you just tell us a little bit about the party that you're thinking
I
of?
have an upcoming party with all women. I've been invited by this particular host many times. I have not gone to it. It's a great opportunity for networking with businesses. And I see these women as very high-powered, capable, put together, thin, healthy, vibrant. And I am totally intimidated by it. And
Oh,
so I have never, ever gone. I'm always busy.
oh.
And this year, I'm actually thinking that I can go to this party, and I'm trying to be courageous.
I'm so glad you raised your hand for this
Mm.
call. I'm so happy that I'm able to work with you for this because yeah, I believe this will really transform you as it has for me. I am shocked at how much easier it is for me to talk to people and connect with people that maybe I would have felt intimidated by in the past. So thank you for sharing that, Daphne.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Mary, what about you? What party are you thinking of that you want to work on? And just tell
Well,
us a little bit about it.
I'm a little confused because when I go to a gathering of people, I usually try to have a job. And so that way I
Oh,
don't have to connect and I don't have and I actually run a couple of functions and
oh,
so I'm in charge.
okay.
And
Great. I'm glad this is great. Okay. So are you not sure how to work with this? I would love to use this as an example for anybody else that might have this or okay.
yeah, I mean
So
I've got functions coming up, and I'm going to be in charge, so I will be working and I can say hi,
okay.
how are you, but I don't have an opportunity to have a discussion.
Cool that
And
you noticed that cool that you noticed that you being in charge of something takes away that social anxiety for you. That's
it
really good
does.
awareness. Okay, so what happened? My question to you is, what would happen if you didn't have a job, if you just went to a party and you didn't
Oof.
Okay. Okay. So the oof feeling, you guys. This is
Yeah,
this is how, okay, when we do the echo tapping process, part of the process is pushing the food away. And the pushing the food away is so that you'll feel bad on the inside. But if you're like Mary and you think about a scenario and it makes you feel bad and you don't have to push the food away, you would just start right there with that emotion, right,
yeah,
Mary?
yeah.
So
My stomach hurts already.
okay, your stomach hurts. Does it make you want to eat food? Do you feel kind of snacky? Like if you put yourself in that scenario, do you feel kind of like, okay, should I go get something? Or I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely would want to eat some food, but I'm also, like organizing things and asking people to do stuff
Okay,
and
so
getting accolades.
for this exercise, you have no job.
Okay.
Your job is to be there and to enjoy the party and to connect with people.
I
Okay?
can honestly say I don't think I've done that in years.
I am going to
Okay.
challenge you to use this process, and you may need to do this multiple times.
Okay.
And I'm going to challenge you to go to a party and not have a job.
Okay.
By the time the holiday series is over, I want you to have gone to a party without a job, at least one.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Great. Okay. All right. I'm gonna mute you, Mary and Daphne, just so you guys can have actually, you know what? Let's get your numbers first. Okay, so I want everybody to close your eyes and bring to mind the party that you're thinking of. Okay, maybe it's a work party, maybe it's a family gathering, maybe it's a friend's holiday party, or it could be a New Year's event. And in your mind's eye, I want you to watch yourself walking into the door and then now you're in the room. Okay? I want you to see the people, hear the noise, notice the lights, maybe there's some music on, the smells. And now notice your desire for food or for alcohol to soothe your stress. Okay? Just notice it, don't judge it. And I want you to give this feeling a number on a scale from 0 to 10. 0 is no desire for food, and 10 is the most it could possibly be. Daphne, what number are you?
10.
10. Okay, Mary, what about you? 10?
10.
Great. Okay, I'm going to mute both of you so you can say words out loud. Um, I muted myself. That's weird. Okay. So everybody have their number and look at the food. So you're just going to be looking at the food in your mind's eye. Notice your desire for the food. This is a really important part of the process. Notice your desire. Notice how your body is drawn to go to wherever the food is, the buffet, the alcohol. And what you're going to do is you're going to imagine telling yourself no. You're going to push the food away from yourself, arm's length distance out in front. Okay. Or if it's alcohol, you can do that with alcohol. And tell yourself, no, I'm not going to have it. That should feel really bad. You know how Mary just did the oof? Okay. This should feel really bad. Now start tapping your karate chop point. I want you to sit back. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to feel this bad feeling. And I'm going to ask you a question here, and I want you to allow your unconscious mind to answer with the very first thing that pops up. How old are you right now? You might see a number, you might feel a number, or you just have a knowing sense of how old you are. Okay? Don't worry about getting it exactly right. Just go with whatever comes up for you. Now start tapping through the points, and I want you to see yourself at that age. You're going to start walking over to her. Okay? Get closer and closer and closer to her. You need to inch your way all the way up until you're right there in front of her. And you might notice your anxiety is even higher at this point. You might be tapping really fast like I'm doing right now. You want to try to slow the tapping down if you can. And when you feel ready, I want you to step inside her body, open your eyes, take a look around, and tell me what's going on, even if you think you're making it up. Now keep tapping through the points as you do this. And I want you to just really allow yourself to feel all the emotions that you're feeling right now. Okay? I want you to allow yourself to boldly step into those feelings. What just happened or what's about to happen that's making you feel bad right now? If you want to say words out loud, you can say whatever you like, or sometimes that pops me out of my process and I just need to say the words in my mind. Okay. But the trick here is to allow yourself to boldly feel these feelings. Were you hurt? Were you abandoned? Did you feel unloved? Do you feel fear? What are the emotions that you're feeling right now? Okay. And allow yourself to boldly step into those feelings, knowing that this is the very last time you have to feel this way. Keep tapping through the points. And if there's anything you want to say right now that's appropriate for this situation, go ahead and say that out loud right now or in your mind's eye. It could be something like, that's not fair. How could you? That wasn't right. It could be no. It could be stop it. Could be get the fuck away from me. Just notice whatever words are popping into your head intuitively right now and keep tapping through the points as you do this. Good. Take a nice deep breath. And we're going to stop tapping for a minute here. You know, some of you guys are still in process, and if you're still processing something, go ahead and keep tapping. But I'm just going to check in with Mary and Daphne. And typically with echo tapping, there are 3 echoes behind every problem. Not always, but there's up to 3 echoes behind every problem. And so there's a way that we close echo tapping up, but before we do that part, we want to check in and we want to check our desire for the food now and try to bring up any other echoes that want to come with us to heal this. Okay, so Daphne, take a nice deep breath. I saw you doing amazing work. Well done. I want you to put yourself in that party again. Notice all the women around, and you started at a 10. What is your desire to eat food now?
I would say a 6 or a 7.
Great. Okay. 6 or 7. Mary, what are you? Go ahead and unmute yourself. So you go to a party, you have nothing to do. You're only there to enjoy the party. Okay.
Probably about an 8.
Great. Okay, good. I want everybody else to do the same thing. Okay. Imagine the same party, same scenario, Notice your trigger. Okay, notice your desire for the food. Now feel that eight. Feel into that eight. I think you guys are both at an eight. No, Daphne, you're at a seven.
Yeah.
You're at a seven. Mary's at an eight. Okay, so feel the remaining trigger, the remaining desire for food, and push the food away again. Okay. And again, I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to mute you guys. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to tell me the very first thing that comes up. That should feel bad. When you feel this bad feeling after pushing the food away, feel that bad feeling, follow that bad feeling back in time and tell me how old you are. And just go with the very first thing that comes up. You might see a number, feel a number. You might just have a knowing sense of what that number is. Start tapping through the points. See yourself at that age. Walk over to her. Get closer and closer and closer to her till you can step inside her body, open your eyes, take a look around, and tell me what's going on, even if you think you're making it up. Keep tapping through the points here. And notice what happened or what's about to happen that's causing you to feel this way. Notice the emotions that you're feeling. And if there are any words that go along with this, you can say, that wasn't right. Why me? Stop it. This made me feel so sad. The point is to allow yourself to feel the emotion, knowing that this is the very last time you ever have to feel this way. Keep tapping through the points. Keep feeling that emotion. If there's any words that go along with this feeling right now, say those out loud or in your mind's eye. And the point isn't to resolve this to completion. The point is to just take some of the pressure off. Okay, we're not going to get this down to a zero with this round of tapping. So you just want to keep tapping on this until you notice your body kind of relaxes. And you take a deep breath. Okay, take a nice deep breath. And Daphne, I'm going to come to you. Oh, looks like this is powerful for you.
Hmm.
Did you have a different experience come up with that one?
I did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Would you
Totally a
mind
different
sharing the
place.
ages?
I was first 22 and then I was 13.
Oh, great. Okay.
And do you want to know about that or what?
No, you don't have to tell us anything more than that. That's
Okay.
yeah, I'm just curious what the different ages were. Mary, what about you? I
Uh,
can
I
remember.
I went from 10 at a church party to 8, I mean to 4. So I'm at a 4 now. And it's all about me feeling less than everybody else who's there because we
Mm.
didn't have the money to bring a gift.
Oh,
And
wow.
and I always felt very judged by everybody in the group. And
Mm.
that's why I have to be in charge.
Mm. It helps you avoid that feeling of vulnerability. Yeah. Keep tapping, Mary, on that one. That one's still pretty active for you. Active. Yeah. Yeah. That might be the core of it for you. I'm going to do one more round, but I don't think you should do another round. I want you to stay with this one, please. Okay. For anybody else, if you're still activated, I want you to go back, bring yourself to the party again. Okay, put yourself in the party. Walk in, you're in there in the room. Notice the people, notice the food, notice the music, and notice your desire for food. Okay, on a scale from 0 to 10, what's your desire now? Once you have that number, allow yourself to feel the desire and then push that desire away, push the food away, sit back, and that should feel bad. Yeah, I can see Anna needs the hands. I always need the hands too. That should feel bad, okay? Feel that bad feeling and follow that bad feeling back in time and tell me how old you are. And just go with the very first thing that comes up. I want you to see a number, feel a number, if you just have a knowing sense of what that number is, and you're going to start walking over to her. Okay? You're going to get closer and closer and closer to her until you can step inside her body, open your eyes, and take a look around, even if you think you're making it up. What just happened or what's about to happen that's making you feel this way? And what are the emotions that you're feeling right now? Do you feel lonely? Do you feel sad? Do you feel angry? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel scared? And say that out loud right now. I feel scared. I feel angry. I feel abandoned. I want you to say the emotion that you're experiencing right now. And if you want to say out loud some words, there's usually other people involved in these memories and experiences. So if we want to verbalize something to them that wasn't right, that's not okay, stop it, get out. Um, don't do that anymore. Bring me with you next time. Whatever's coming to you, say it out loud. Okay, when you feel ready, take a nice deep breath and come back to today. And whether you have one echo or two or three, I want you to look, I want you to imagine stepping into a room in outer space where the four of you or the three of you or the two of you are there together, okay? And look around at them at all their different ages. And actually, I want you guys to tap during this part. And imagine if there's a couple of them, imagine your arms are around them. Okay. And as your arms are around them, I want you to imagine two huge golden angels come down from the sky and they wrap you all in their wings. And they fill you with so much bright white light. Okay, keep tapping through the points. You feel this, you feel held, you feel contained, you feel safe by their unconditional love. Okay, keep tapping through the points. And I want you to imagine a beautiful shower head made of crystal is above the group of you. And we're going to turn the dial up. And we're going to hold space for you. This is a very tight container for you to heal together. Now notice and feel as this brilliant bright white light comes down from the shower head and washes away every part of your body. So hear the water flow, or hear the light, the brilliant bright white light flow like water, and it's cleansing every part of your body. All your cells, your organs, your body, their bodies, your energy body, the energy outside of your body, their energy bodies. I want you to allow this brilliant bright white light to cleanse every part of your body, all the emotion, all the stuck energy, all the limiting beliefs. And as you feel and experience this happening, I want you to imagine the ground is like a huge vacuum cleaner and it loves debris. Okay? It literally turns shit into flowers. Okay? So imagine the ground becomes a huge vacuum cleaner and it slurps all of the yucky stuff into the ground. Okay? And if you want to work with the light here, if there's any part of your body that's kind of like you're like, oh, there's some stuck energy. I don't know. For me, it's always my second chakra. It's my womb area. I think that's where, a lot of us store, according to the chakra system, this is where a lot of us store sexual trauma. So if there's anything extra, or maybe it's your heart. My heart is still really tender around Bella right now. So if there's any other area of your body that feels like it needs some extra attention, go ahead and put the light in there and clean that yucky stuff up from that area too. And just again, imagine releasing all that yucky stuff into the ground. Imagine the ground being so excited to receive this debris from you. And then you can stop tapping through the points here. Take a nice deep breath. And I want you to feel now as this brilliant bright white light is going to fill your body back up, okay, with the highest vibration that exists in the entire universe, okay? Feel as this white light fills up your head. It's filling up your neck. It's filling up your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your stomach, your hips, your thighs, your knees, calves, and feet. So I want you to feel here as you get more full and more full and more full. And I want you to feel as you get so full of this brilliant bright white light that it shoots out of your fingertips, it shoots out of your toe tips, it shoots out of the top of your head, and it spills out of your heart. And I want you to feel yourself here fountaining this brilliant bright white light. And look down at the little yous that are also fountaining this bright white light, and notice the look on their faces. Notice how they've shifted. And just sit here for a minute and feel how good that feels to be fountaining this brilliant bright white light. And the last part is, I want you to look down at each one of your echoes and ask them if they want to come with you. So usually you want them to say yes. If they don't say yes, you can raise your hand and I can help you with that. But hopefully they say yes. And if they do, you can shrink them down into little teeny tiny bite size, pick them up and put them in your heart. And I want you to feel, you can do this one by one, and I want you to feel as they grow up inside of you, as they get bigger and bigger and bigger and older until they become you as the person you are today, with this new way of seeing the world and this new way of seeing that situation. Right. Take a nice deep breath, everybody. And we're going to check your final results. Daphne and Mary, I'd love to check in with you both. So everybody put yourself back there at that party. Imagine being there. Imagine the people around, hear the noise, see the lights, hear the music, and then notice your desire for food on a scale from 0 to 10. Daphne, what are you at?
I'd say I'm a one.
Good. Okay. So if you're a one, was there an echo that didn't want to go with you?
No, wanted to go
No, they
with
all
me.
went with you. Okay, good.
Mhm.
Um,
My one is probably the logical piece of me that says, how could I possibly be a zero?
okay. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to tap on that because that's also a self-sabotage mechanism to keep us from fully healing something. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's the part of you that's like too smart for this to work so well and so fast, right? Like, don't trick
Yep.
me. Who are you? Um,
Yep. Ding
yes.
ding.
Exactly. Okay, so make sure you put words to that. You can create your own tapping script. You can chat GPT it, but put some words to that and tap through that because that's how this will stick either way. But it has a higher probability of never coming back if you do that part.
Okay.
Cool. Okay,
Okay.
Mary, what about you? How are you doing?
Definitely at a zero. And I have a very weird, I can see this thread going through grammar school and high school and college of me feeling that I had to do and organize and be for people to like me. And
Oh,
it's from that time of being
wow.
6 and 8 and um, of not being able to really to participate and being aware that people knew that I was less than they were because I couldn't bring a gift.
Yeah. And the reality is nobody probably even noticed, right? But you
Yeah.
encoded
Well,
that.
there was some bullying. Yeah. Yeah, there was
Okay.
some yeah. And
Okay.
she's
So
dead. So
yeah. Okay. And so you might need to go back and do this a couple more times.
yeah.
I really want to challenge you to commit to a party that you know you're not going to do anything at. And then as you get closer to the party, I bet there might be a couple more echoes that'll pop up. And I would love to see what happens in your life if you resolve all of the echoes that come up and you can truly go to a party and not feel
Yeah.
the desire to help or to eat.
Yeah, help. I mean,
Yeah.
they just give me a busy job and then I don't, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
But
Thank you so much, both of you, for
thank you.
being,
May I
you know,
ask a question about that self-sabotage? I mean, is
yeah.
that if I go to the self-sabotage, I'm so new still at using the technology and
No
whatnot, but
worries.
if I go to that self-sabotage, will that have language to help me get through that? Because my logical brain does kick in a lot sometimes.
Yeah, no problem. No, what would help you the most right now is to write out what you hear yourself saying about this process. Okay. So if you do journaling or if you ever
Mhm.
do any kind of like noticing your thoughts, I want you to write out on the piece of paper exactly what you hear yourself saying and keep
Okay.
writing until you start repeating the same things or until you run out of things to say. And then that becomes your tapping script. And then I want you to look down at the words, say the words out loud without looking at them so you feel the words and then tap through that. Okay. It might take you 10 or 15 minutes to do this whole thing, but
And it's the writing is about how I feel about this process of
just you're in it right now. So just right from here, we're going to end this
okay.
call. So right from here, just start writing. I'm going to answer some questions, but
Okay.
just start writing why the question is, um, why you're still a one. Feel into the one. What is the one saying? That's what the question is. What's the one saying? Why are you still a one? You had a really
Thank
good reasons before.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Anybody have questions about what we just did? I'm happy to answer them. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
Just wondering, so if the little girl doesn't want to come with you, what do you do with her?
Okay. I'm glad there was one. So typically, if the little girl doesn't want to come with you, that means that there is some more emotional work to be done there. And it's usually connected to anger work. So this is where we get a little bit more complex in the method. So instead of just feeling the emotion, we release the anger or we express more in that moment. So this is when I would use the recording of me walking you through it and pause in that moment. And when I say feel the feelings, you want to really get into your anger in that moment. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. And I know you're in an anger process from our last Q&A call, so I'm excited for you to see what shifts when you get through that. Okay, Marlene, do you have a question about
Yeah,
what just happened?
yeah.
Okay.
What seems to be coming up for me is not belonging there. That whether it was a party and loneliness, right? Like uh the events are I'm not supposed to be there. Even though I was invited, I
Uh-huh.
just feel like I'm not supposed to be there. And
And
so
did
the
you get to
first
the core of that during this?
It no, not other than loneliness, that I'm alone and I don't belong in the group. Like I don't fit in. That's what
Okay.
a lot of it
And
is.
when you did you notice, does that cause you to want to eat when you're not really hungry?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And when you push the food away, did you go back and did you remember a time in your past where it was similar to that or the feelings were similar?
I believe so. It was loneliness
Yeah.
of like
Okay.
not
So
belonging. I went back to that and it happened like at the age of 17
did you,
and
Marlene, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to make sure we end on time. Did you go through the whole technique and did you tap through through the whole process or did you come in and kind of check out and then do something else?
I believe I stayed for the whole process and kept tapping and
Okay.
thinking about it.
Okay. So you probably just want to do another couple rounds on that. So I would do it right now tonight if you can while it's active for you.
Hmm.
You can use the audio of me walking you through it. It's 15 minutes and just I give you the instructions just like I did today. You might need to spend a little bit more time in the emotions of the loneliness than we had time to do in this call.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah,
And
I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. Tracy, is your hand up again? Oh, okay.
Uh, I have a really fast question.
Okay.
Are you ever going to write a book about all of this?
Yeah, now that I found this girl who's really helpful to help me explain it, yes, that will be in the near future. The coaching certification is coming first, but then we'll have a book. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Thank you guys. This is a great class. I'm really happy to be teaching you guys. It's been a long time since I taught classes live, so thank you for putting up with my I feel like I'm not quite in the teaching game the way I used to be, but I'm a little rusty. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. I'm a little rusty, but thanks for hanging in there with me. So I can't wait to see how this goes for you guys. Practice this a lot. Also, reminder, there's Casey, Coach Casey. Wave hi, Casey. Coach Casey is teaching a class this week, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Time. She is going to be talking about how to eat through the holidays without gaining weight. Casey is certified in nutrition. She's an ex-fitness competitor. She has gone through my program. She's gone through her own journey with overcoming emotional eating, and then she went through the coach certification program. So she's going to be teaching you guys all about the food and the nutrition part that I can't teach you. So I'm really excited. Thank you, Casey, for doing that. And you'll get an email to remind you when that is and the links to join and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. Great week. And I'll see you again here next Monday. Bye, everybody.